But, ladies and gents, moving on to our next topic, let's talk Big G, because we've Apple TV Plus is making a MonsterVerse TV show. We've got the new title. We've also got some new details, and we've got our first look at Godzilla. It is titled Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. We've got new features because obviously Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell are in this. Initially, they thought that they would be playing father and son. They're playing the same character because some of it's going to be set in the past, some of it's going to be set in the future. This sounds amazing, and it looks amazing. It looks so, so good. So here we have it. Following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking revelation that monsters are real, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters tracks two siblings following in their father's footsteps to uncover their family's connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Clues lead them into the world of monsters, ultimately down the rabbit hole to Army Officer Lee Shaw, played by Kurt and Wyatt Russell, taking place in the 50s and half a century later, where Monarch is threatened by what Shaw knows. The dramatic saga spanning 3 generations reveals buried secrets and the ways that epic, earth-shattering events can reverberate through our lives. If it's set in the 50s, this is actually pre-Kong Skull Island. It is a prequel to everything.
God, this is going to be so good.
And here we have fucking King Big G himself, King of the Monsters. Oh my God, does it look good?
I want this so badly.
Is that actually
Doesn't
from the
it
show?
look good?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I mean, look, it's a MonsterVerse show. It's in canon with Legendary's MonsterVerse. So they've obviously taken the models, they've taken the assets and reworked them into this because it has to look identical. You can't have Godzilla not looking like Godzilla. So if you're going to show live action Godzilla, it has to be exactly the same 3D models, right? Legendary owns the assets, so they've just given them to Apple TV. Fucking look at that. Or licensed it.
Yeah, I think the only thing
expense.
they can't do is Kong. They have to license through Warner, yeah.
But look at this.
I want this so badly.
And look at the
gorgeous.
When I read this and I'm looking at this, I'm like, this looks more adult. This looks much more mature. Whereas, you know, I think Legendary's done a really smart thing with the films. They have gone down a little bit more of an immature-ish route, sci-fi, fantasy, because that's where their merchandise sales are going to come from all the kids. I understand that. I get it. I don't begrudge it because I can still enjoy it. But did I love 2014's serious tone, the Godzilla tone? Did I like King of the Monsters serious tone? Kong Skull Island serious tone? Yes. Do I want more of that? Yes. Does this look like it's that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. God, father and son. This is so great.
But playing the same character.
I know.
I can't wait.
Great.
I cannot wait to see how they. Because one of the best things about Face Off, for instance, was how each actor mimicked each other's mannerisms. Right. This father and son having to copy one singular character, one vision. I think that's going to be really interesting. Anyway, Tom, thoughts, my dude?
Is that Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
He's looking a little old, but
you're not listening. Oh my God.
I'm putting on my stupid boots because I keep hitting my toes. I'm listening, but I'm only half paying attention. You didn't see the BRB, evidently.
No, I didn't.
I'm getting a little more interested in this. Yeah.
Kurt and Wyatt Russell playing the same character. It was thought initially when they were cast that it was going to be father and son, obviously father and son, but they're playing the same character across generations.
I can deal with that.
Oh, what do you think to the shots? The more serious tone, the vibe? Would you reckon?
I mean, I guess I'm kind of with you. If you're going to go back to the serious tone, do it in a TV show like this. Yeah, because kids don't have the attention span for something like this. But you're 100% right, because that's what I had said about, you know, I think you and I even kind of got into a little bit about Godzilla versus Godzilla King of the Monsters box office originally, when I'd said it's not doing what they needed it to do, but the toys are selling. And that's the only reason we got King Kong versus Godzilla. And that's why they went completely towards the kids and made it like a Saturday morning cartoon, because those toys were selling like crazy. That if it wasn't for those toys, we wouldn't have gotten another movie.
I completely agree. I mean, I was with someone very high up associated with that movie when they literally had a phone call from Warner Brothers saying, yeah, we're well happy with this box office result. That was opening weekend. It was on the Sunday. So I'll leave it all to your imagination who I was having a drink with at that point.
But then
in
again,
time.
you got to keep in mind it also fell off a cliff after that.
Yeah, but I mean but again, they were happy with the box office because they knew what the demographics were and they were
The
translating.
toys were
the
probably
toy
already
sales,
selling
basically.
really well. That's the point. Yeah,
Exactly my point.
And that's what I noticed too, is that this is a rarity in toys where you had up until the day the King Kong versus Godzilla toys came out, the King of the Monster toys were on the shelf. And I get and the King Kong versus Godzilla toys are still on the shelf and will be until Godzilla X King Kong whatever toys come out.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks good for a TV show. And I got Apple, so I guess I can. When does it start?
I don't think they've given a release date yet, actually. Doesn't that look good though? It looks so good.
Compared to some of the other shit we see, yeah.
Well, the thing about Godzilla, their CG's always been top notch.
Always.
You regardless whether you think they're cartoonish or not, their CG's impeccably done. The fur on Kong is amazing. It all looks amazing. Yeah, it gets cartoonish, but the CG is impeccable. And they don't, the money they spend on it, and you look at a Marvel movie, it's an embarrassment by comparison. And so for this to be on the small screen, I love the look of this. To be on the small screen, this is amazing. This is great. I wasn't bothered about this initially. I'm bothered now. Coach taking a sip there before he starts.
I love this. I mean, it looks good. The chat seems to indicate that there may be some issues there with the writing and so on and so forth. But
the writing of the films, yeah, because they went a bit kiddish. Yeah, people don't like that.
Yeah, but as far as the imagery here, if this is what I'm going to get in the show, I'm super stoked. I mean, go ahead.
And as far as the kiddish aspect, look, I get it. We want a more serious Godzilla. We're going to get that out of Toho. We got to understand that one thing about this is, look, if any Godzilla fan who's watched all the movies and loves all of the films knows that there's this goofy shit in a lot of the movies.
Yeah.
So like these movies are really have been playing very, and I had my issues with the humans in King of the Monsters, but it doesn't matter because you've got Godzilla movies where there's freaking aliens and shit. Like, I mean, you just got to kind of play along with that part of it. That's not the worst of it. Like, I get why Warner Brothers did what they did. I enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong. Is it the greatest Kong movie or Godzilla movie ever? Oh, hell no. But what it did do is exactly what they needed it to do. And if they're going to do this kind of a thing, this is more than what we get out of a lot of these franchises, especially if this is more adult oriented, right? And more in line with 2014, because I see some people are like, oh, we're not going to see much of the monsters. Probably not, because we know there wasn't a whole lot of monster activity prior to the 2014 film. That's the whole point. But in that, what we're going to see is a lot of like people investigating stuff. And, as long as they've got decent actors, and it looks like they're going to be bouncing back and forth between modern day and the past. So we will get some monsters, but as long as they keep it, keep it grounded and shit more like the 2014 film, I think people will like it. Yeah.
Well, so on that topic of not seeing many monsters, with the investigative elements that you're sort of proposing, I would like to throw my 2 cents in there and actually say that I think that would be very, very compelling, because you're right. You'd see like bones of a kaiju and you'd be like, well, what's that too?
Well, it's almost procedural element to it too, in a way.
But all this sort of fascinating. This is a show that builds backstory that will get people really enthralled in the lore and the canon, and it will expand the universe in a really interesting way. It has the potential to, anyway. We don't know if it's going to. That stuff's great. It's the Easter egg kind of elements. It's the things which people dissect. It's those things which people obsess over because they saw something that looked maybe like it was, from Anguirus or something like this, right? Those kind of things are fascinating, interesting, and people love it. And I think if there's any vehicle to have a lot of Easter eggs like that, it's actually this.
Oh yeah,
I think that'll blow people away. That'd be great.
I think. You hit the nail on the head there, because we just recently found an animal we didn't know existed that was the heaviest, largest animal on the planet. We found an entire skeleton in the desert.
Lizzo.
Yes, Lizzo. Well, I mean the prehistoric version of Lizzo. Anyway, but honestly, those kinds of things always thrill me because I'm like, look, it's something else we didn't know about, and it existed. It lived here on this planet, and so I like those kinds of things. So I think you're right, and I'm, like I said, I really do. I really did appreciate that they're going to move forward with that thing because we've been hearing about the show for a long time.
Yeah, they did some shit in Australia, and then it all sort of went quiet, and then we haven't really heard anything. And now, boom, there'll be a trailer 2 weeks from now, easily. Within 2 weeks, there'll be a teaser trailer.
I hope
and
so.
We'll discuss it here on your favorite podcast, the H-Cast.